Welcome traders, this is Stock Talk on August 15th. Now, I know you guys were watching the markets today. You guys probably watched my video yesterday, and we're looking at the S&P 500 SPY on the intraday chart. And we know that there was a resistance at 284. And we were looking very bullish yesterday, quite in fact. And today, you guys can see that multiple rejections actually played out to the downside. And now we actually made a low today of 280.16. So we actually had a pretty big move to the downside today. However, I want you guys to take a look at the big picture on the SPY. And what do you guys see based off of today's candle? So today's candle looks like a reversal candle back up. Now you might be like, Kevin, hold on. You talked about reversal yesterday, back up. You're talking about reversal today, back up. So here's the things that I'm looking at to make these kind of judgments. And you guys can see that first off, we have a support at 279.40. And that is quite in fact a very important support area. As you can see, it's been tested many times in the past. But we didn't get down to that area. We got close to it, but we didn't get down there. That's perfectly fine. And if we form a reversal here, that is normal. I mean, that's perfectly fine. And that if you guys wanted to go long, you certainly could. But given today's trajectory, you guys can see it looks pretty bullish. So, all right. So here's the thing I'm looking at. Okay. There's two scenarios I'm looking at right now that could play out tomorrow. The first scenario is, I'm going to take you guys to the 180-day chart, is to perhaps continue around this area in which we test the 282 near-term resistance, which is exactly where we stopped at. Can you guys see that this was the previous support, now acting as a new resistance here? Okay, the near-term resistance, and then perhaps do a double bottom. Doesn't have to do a double bottom tomorrow. It could certainly go sideways, and then perhaps we'll do a double bottom at 280. That's the first scenario. And the second scenario, and I think this one is just as likely, is perhaps if we do start reversing back to the upside. But right now, I know we have that signal on the yearly chart of a possible reversal. But we're still, you guys can see that we pretty much ended the day around 282. So while I do like this trend, I need at the very least more evidence of us going higher. Otherwise, you guys can see that, if I just took this line out, looking at these tail candles, very nice, of course, but we could still come up to the 20 EMA or the light blue line, get rejected, and come on down. So where's our best buy area? So obviously you guys can see that this area I've marked is the best buy area, but because of today's movement, I'm going to mark this box as the best buy area into the markets, and such that if we do dip into this box area, that's a pretty good time to perhaps of course you don't have to do that, but perhaps looking into going into the markets and start adding your shares. Let's take a look at volatility in TVIX. So TVIX is one that has been rather ridiculous, and you guys can see how much it moved higher today. As a matter of fact, it kept at that top until the last few hours. You guys can see that we were at $41, $42 until the last few hours, and we managed to sell off a 10 good percent. This is 10% move back to the downside. So and you guys can see, correlating with the SPY, we are seeing a reversal pattern on the the volatility. So we're looking good in the general markets in terms of reversal back up. We're looking pretty good in terms of volatility. Doesn't mean we have to come straight down. We could certainly, perhaps go up a little higher, perhaps, come down, rebound from the 20 EMA, go a little higher, and then get rejected all the way back down. That's certainly possible, as this will correlate with the SPY if we do that double bottom. But for now, it looks very enticing that it looks like the markets, was managed to rally off of that bottom today. A lot of big moves today. And the next commodity, you guys know it. It's crude oil /CL. And crude oil, we talked about the bear flag formation, regardless of what bear flag you're looking at. Yesterday, I pointed out the bear flag where you guys can see the bear flag, multiple bear flags, or you could just say this is one huge bear flag, and that's perfectly normal. You guys can see that's one huge bear flag playing out to the downside. And now you guys can see that, well, where was the next support area? Well, the next support area was 64.46. You guys can see that, you know, this was marked in previous days, and all of a sudden today we ended right very close to that area, the near-term support. So for crude oil, what kind of pattern is forming? You know, this is continuously being played out to the downside, and crude oil continues to go lower. And that's what we have to look for in the near future. Just note that if we do start falling, we do have a couple more support points. Doesn't mean it has to hold. We do have a support, small support at 63.22, perhaps stronger support around $62. And but right now, crude oil continues to decline. Perhaps it will do what? Do another bear flag before another rejection and back down. So just keep an eye on that. Therefore, you guys can see the ticker UWT, which follows crude oil. Same thing, right? We fell very close to the support at 29.11. We didn't actually hit it. So right now, looks like crude oil continues to be in trouble, just like /GC. And this is a good segue right into gold futures. My, oh my, oh my. Gold, JNUG, which follows gold, down over 17% today. And you guys can see, I told you guys, remember, I gave you guys warning signals the whole time that our next support, our potential support is 1147.8. And look how fast and quickly we are coming down on gold. So obviously you certainly don't want to go into gold at this point. It's not a, oh, I'm getting a good deal kind of trade. It's a more of like a death trap kind of trade. So in this case, I'm waiting for, you know, a reaction around 1148, around that area, and see what happens. If it does rebound significantly and forms that reversal signal, then we can possibly look into going into gold. But for now, we have to stay out of this trade, as this is, man, oh man, can't say anything about it. /NG and natural gas futures. So I'm going to take you guys natural gas to the yearly chart, and you guys can see that we have a resistance at around 2.989 or 3.00, around that area. And you guys can see that UGAZ declined just a little bit, around 1%, 1.4%, because we did make a down move today. Remember, we talked about, as we're nearing the high, you know, this is the time where we should start thinking about releasing your shares. So we're nearing the high right now. Are we out of the bullish trajectory for natural gas? And the answer is no, we're not. We are still bullish. This is just consolidation sideways, and you know, you can imagine that, you know, this could push for another move up higher, and you know, or it could come down just a little bit. It certainly could, but overall, natural gas continues to look bullish. Is this the best entry into natural gas? Probably not, but if you're in natural gas, you're good, but you should think about taking your profits at the very least. All right, let's get to all of your tickers. We have a lot of tickers because you guys were watching the markets. You guys were thinking, man, is this a good entry right now or right then? So Addy Boy, thank you for your compliment about the crude oil and MU analysis. Speaking of which, MU, let's visit it really quick. I think someone mentioned MU, but I'm not sure where the comment went. We talked about how MU was not keeping over the moving average, and when they don't keep over the moving average, when they don't obey a specific trend, we cannot take the trade. We do our trades based off of technical analysis most of all, and if our technical analysis breaks, we certainly can't say, hey, let's go into something that is, you know, breaking a technical standpoint. And you guys can see it broke it here, and now here's MU down over 6%. All right, so thank you, Addy Boy, and we'll take a look at Walmart. So here's Walmart. Let me just take a look. I think earnings came out. Oh, it's coming out, let's see, tomorrow. Wait, hold on, it's coming out tomorrow. So right now, we would want to wait for earnings to play out first, but obviously Walmart is looking very nice. And this is one that's rather slow moving. So if you guys do like slower moving, safer stocks, certainly Walmart's one to consider. You guys can see that Walmart has a near-term resistance at 93.52. We might stall there just for a little bit before moving on, pushing on higher, but Walmart's certainly one that can move higher. And you guys can see that it has been steadily bouncing off, right? Bouncing off the 50 period moving average every time, and it looks very solid in terms of pattern. Good job, Addy boy. Chris, WYNN, I see no point of reversal. What are your thoughts and support levels? Yeah, Chris, good analysis. I don't see any, as a matter of fact, I can't see any support levels on this chart. On the 180-day chart, we are in trouble. WYNN is in trouble. This one, you guys can see I marked a support area at 126.65, around that area, and that's a pretty far ways off. And look at this pretty much exponential decline back down. No end in sight, and I like what you're saying, no point of reversal, and therefore we cannot go into one that's actively declining this much. Jason, take a look at ticker EA. Looks like similar setup. So here's EA, and one thing you can argue is here's EA, right? We made a down move going sideways. What are we doing? You guys can see that we made a rejection candle at the 20 period moving average right here, and this is likely, doesn't have to happen all the time, but this is likely to play out to the downside. Usually this is a move that is situated for another move back down. So unfortunately, while I do like this company once again, until we can at the very least keep over the 20 EMA on a daily basis, we cannot really look into this company, at least right now. Luis, ARQL. So ARQL is one that I think one of you guys pointed out, and because you guys can see that every time it hits the 50 period moving average, it manages to go higher, and it doesn't go higher a little bit, it goes higher by quite a bit. So overall, ARQL is starting its breakout trajectory. It looks very good. So congratulations. Thank you, Luis. Coolio, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you, so good to see you back. Rico, thank you for your comment about AEP and MU, and yes, this channel is really growing. So thank you guys once again. I appreciate all of you guys watching these videos. And if you do find these videos helpful, hit that thumbs up button. It helps me a lot, and that's all you have to do. Perhaps visit my Facebook group if you want to take a look at some things I kind of talk about there, about general market movement. I do some posts sometimes daily. So yeah, give that video a thumbs up if you do like the video. Thank you so much. And Zhang, yeah, thank you for your comment, knowing the moves in the market. Longin SD, so we're looking at HD. Crushed earnings on Tuesday, but barely moved. So yeah, so the one thing is you guys know that, when something crushes earnings, right? If it's on, regardless, it's not really, what you think that really matters. It's what the market thinks that really matters. And therefore, if we're overextended, if this stock is already overvalued and beat earnings, then, we could still come on down. And you guys can see that we were near the peak, and Home Depot, did come down, but today we did recover just a little bit. So Home Depot is one, I think I like its movement, I like its trajectory, but right now, since it's readily declining, we're near the top, it's declining right now, we don't see any sign of immediate reversal areas, so I think we would just have to hold off on this one. And you guys can see the best opportune buy area has to be where? At the 200 period moving average, which is around 187.68. Are we there yet? We're not, so let's be patient on this one. Canine, Lockheed Martin, LMT. So, interesting. So here's Lockheed Martin, and the one thing you guys can see is this is another one that's rather erratic. We can see that there's a resistance at 321.95, and this one just obviously doesn't offer enough of a potential, I don't think. Let me just do this really quick. Put that perfect. Okay, there we go. So what's that potential for profit? Right, it's only 2.5%, and that's taking, we're sort of on a downtrend. This is a horizontal pattern. You guys can see that overall, this almost looks like a bear flag, but you guys can see here's the down move followed by consolidation. Usually that does follow with another down move, but regardless, because this pattern is rather erratic, you guys can see that on the this chart here that we're still not looking very good, right? Obviously, this is a lower high, lower low pattern, and right now we're in the middle. Not the best opportunity. There's certainly better ones to look at, but thank you for your submission. And finally, DJ Sin, you're watching for a false reversal in Alibaba. So yeah, so once again, guys, I'll just kind of visit Alibaba for you guys. And Alibaba once again declining, right? There is no end in sight. Sure, there's a near-term support at 167.19. You guys can see that we managed to pull above right after the support. Does that mean we're going to reverse right here? No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, we're still declining. This one just bounced and popped up just a little bit, but you guys can see overall we still ended the day in the negative. So good job for that one person or those few people who exited when I talked about breaking a specific trend on Alibaba. Obviously you didn't have to, but I was just pointing out some things that I was looking at. So guys, that's it for this video. Oh, I want to mention another ticker. And which ticker, right? IQ. Okay, so you guys know this ticker. Here's IQ. Very similar, in which you guys can see where we're gapped down, and then we did manage to pull higher as the market did trade, but overall we went down 2 points. Guys, these tickers are so dangerous. You guys can see IQ, the Chinese stocks, right? Alibaba. Someone mentioned BILI. Look at this. What is going on here, right? Certainly not good in terms of specific trends. If you're looking at Chinese stocks and it looks like this, it is certainly, very dangerous to hold these, at least long term. If you're shorting it, I think you're doing a great job. But if you're holding long term, very, very dangerous signal. So, guys, thank you for watching this video. I will see you guys tomorrow for our last stock talk of the week. Not forever, of the week. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, hopefully you guys enjoy your trading day. Look for that SPY reversal wherever it occurs. It might have bottomed out today, but if we have a double bottom confirmation in the next few days, that'll be even a better entry, I think. Otherwise, if it does start reversing and then reconfirming that 20-period moving average, that could be that entry sign into the market. So thank you very much for watching this video. See you guys tomorrow.